But what you do get to shape is your ideology, your values, your value system. And the way that we get to where we want to be in life isn't about being who we are today. We have to change. We have to, change our physiology, the way that we express ourselves. And all of this is going to hopefully start to come full circle for you as you progress through these videos. And you're going to start to wake yourself up and realize, actually, do you know what? What's got me to where I am today isn't going to get me to where I want to be. Let's say my goal is that I'd love the idea of running a marathon. That's my goal for 2025 or 2026, whatever it could be. That's my goal for being able to get success. Let's say I go about sort of wanting to run that marathon. I have to first make the decision that I can do that thing in the first place. Who I am today isn't going to allow me to run a marathon. I'm not going to just start running tomorrow and feel like I've run a marathon. It's just not going to happen. I might be able to do it. It's going to be extremely sore. I probably need some form of prep, but the chances are I'm not going to achieve it based on my current state. I'm going to have to change the way I think and feel about myself in order to get myself to where I want to be, change the way I think about it. If I can change my own ideologies, my own values, my own belief system, let's take, for example, we wanted to do that. Well, I've got to start to think like I had already run the marathon. I'd have to, start thinking about, okay, so what have I got to prepare? I've got to prepare a diet. That's going to take some new values in my day and some new ways of thinking about things. I'm going to have to start training every day. Maybe I'm going to have to train 3-4 times a week. Unless we get into these sorts of these ideas, or at least getting into these thoughts and start training our brain to think differently about things, we can't step into that future self. So for you to be able to go out there and achieve what you're trying to achieve, let's say your ideal goal is to build a side hustle or build a business. At the moment, your current self doesn't have that. You don't have a side hustle or a business. So you have to now develop the core fundamental skills and the thinking and the beliefs and the rationale to become this person. Let's say in 12 months' time, I am the person who's gone out and built that side hustle, built that beliefs. The way that you do this is you say now, and you can do this via a column. Let's say we just put it like that, and you give yourself a column to start writing these things down. And I urge you to do this if you've got a piece of paper, ideally, because it's easier to scribble. You say to yourself, now I am ... and you just let yourself go. You just go through and you start listing out a load of things that you feel that you are in this moment. I am 27. I am Jeff, whatever your name is. I am, working 9 to 5 days a week. I am this, and this. Okay, so how do we do it? How do we get to that end goal? How do we make it easier for ourselves to believe that we can actually achieve the end goal? We have to say, let's say the marathon is in 12 months' time, just to keep it simple in round numbers. So, in 12 months, I am. And then I want you to list down everything that you would have to be in that state, in that being, to be able to run that marathon, as far as your sort of brain allows you to. Obviously there will be some things that come up that you wouldn't have thought about. But the chances are, as you start to do this research, you're going to realize who you're going to need to become to achieve that goal. Now, how does this relate back to what we were saying earlier? If we can start to program our mind to think in this sense and start to think about, what ideology do I have to step into? Who do I have to become? What do I have to think each day? How do I have to wake up? How do I have to feel? What diet do I need? How many times do I need to go training per week to feel like I'm in the position where I can start to run a marathon? You're going to be a very different person in 12 months' time, a very different person. But you can't do it unless you realize where you're at right now to where you want to be. And if you start to mentally do this over and over again, you start to practice shifting into who you have to become. And you do this not just for a marathon, but if you want to build your side hustle, or if you want to upskill, or if you want to get a better job, you have to step into this person. You cannot do it based on where you're at, because I'm going to promise you that where you're at isn't where you are wanting to be with the current goals that you've got. So for you to step into that state, for you to feel that way, for you to be able to run that marathon, the chances are you're not there yet, but that's okay. Because if we set our GPS correctly and we understand exactly where we want to go with our lives, we're going to be able to outline pretty much, with a bit of research, exactly what we need to do and who we need to become to get to that point. So building your own religion for yourself, almost making it a religious matter, it just becomes a part of you. You know, I am John, I am 27. This is the identity you've created for yourself. But your identity, to get you to where you want to be, we have to change this identity in order to get there. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that kind of, although we've gone a bit elaborate on all this, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. The more you can start to think about this as a process and as a system, the easier it's going to make it for you in life to start getting what you actually want. And then we can start going through a few ideas in a moment.